memories. What would you say is the one defining moment for you of Dr. King?
I think it's the Washington Monument, where we really had a powerful speech where people really had to sit back and think about the words. And if it's not that, it's all the other speeches, it's all the other actions, it's the sacrifices of the entire King family that I really think that strike a chord with families throughout the entire country, and what the entire family lost as a result of the sacrifice for civil rights and social justice strikes a chord with all of us. And I think that's what resonates with people even still today.
You know, it's interesting because during the break, Senator Woolford was sharing a story with us about Coretta Scott King and the fact that she always feared for her husband's life and thought that he would ultimately end up sacrificing his life for the cause.
She told my wife the first time they met that she had had this dream that at the end of the road he had chosen he would be killed. And he turned from the front of the car where I was driving, and we were strategizing about Gandhi action, and said, "Corey, stop that dream. Think what we can do while we're here. I didn't choose this course." You know, Rosa Parks went to jail, and the bus boycott was decided, and they turned and asked me to lead it, 26-year-old new preacher. And I said yes, and then he hummed a spiritual line that went, "And the Lord came by and asked, and my soul said yes."
And then halfway in his life, that short period between 11 and 13 years, he wanted out. And what happens, his people around him, surrogates, demanded that he stay, that he had to stay. He had had enough, he'd gotten tired. Couldn't be with his family, couldn't be with his friends, etc. He was asking out.
But as we all know, he continued to try to have that dream come true for all Americans. Reverend Michael Haynes is the senior minister emeritus at the 12th Baptist Church in Boston. He apprenticed as a preacher with Martin Luther King at 12th Baptist Church and remained close friends with him until his death. He's on the telephone lines with us now from Boston. Reverend Haynes, thank you for being with us.
Glad to be with you.
We've been talking throughout the hour here about individuals' recollections and where they were the day that they got the news. Can you share with us how you learned that your friend had been murdered?
I had been to a Friday evening service at church and came home and just turned on the radio, and I realized that he was in Memphis. I'd heard the speech of the night before and heard the announcement that he had been assassinated. So it was one of the saddest nights in my life as I look back upon it now, written indelibly forever as a reminder of the sacrifice that we can make, but ever mindful of the fact that that he had stated in one of his speeches earlier, if you believe in something firmly, if you believe in it truly, if you believe in it in your heart, you are willing to die for it, but I'm not going to advocate a method that brings about unnecessary death. And just the night before that, he had said, like anybody, I'd like to live a long life, but I'm not interested in that now. I just want to do God's will. And so he was very committed to God's will. He realized that suffering was redemptive, and he knew that he might have to pay the price. He was very conscious of that. We had been together a couple of months before, and we spoke at the Ford Hall Forum in Boston, and I drove him to the airport, and he had mentioned the fact that he realized that his days were numbered, very cognizant of that. That time we traveled with only 2 police escorts. Prior to that, when he was in Boston, we'd have motorcycle escorts and everything else. He realized that he might have to lay down his life for a cause.
And he